Hey YouTube, this is Jaden coming at you, and I am continuing my Power Rangers segment on this video. And in this video, I will be covering Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. Now, Lost Galaxy, I'll admit, it was after In Space that I kind of fell out of watching Power Rangers. I think it was because other shows came on that I really liked, and I kind of unfortunately forgot about Power Rangers. And I started watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and I kind of really didn't watch Power Rangers. And and looking back on it, I wish I would have, because I probably would have really enjoyed this series. And now, when I went back and I started rewatching these, as an older guy, I say older guy, but if you notice right before I said guy, I was about to say kid, and I'm still a kid at heart, really. But my point is, I wasn't going to watch Galaxy because I thought I'd heard somewhere that Galaxy was just really not that good of a series. And my friend Christian, who's also Team Shadow Strike member, told me, no, seriously, watch Lost Galaxy. It is an amazing series. So I took his advice and I started watching Lost Galaxy. And I got to admit to him, he was right, and Lost Galaxy possibly is one of my top 5 favorite series. So first off, the first thing that happens in this series is we completely wipe the slate clean of the cast and we see completely new Rangers. Everybody in this series, except one person, which I'll get to later in the video, was never seen. As far as the current Rangers of this segment goes. So let's start talking about the cast. First, we have Danny Slavin, who plays Leo, the Red Galaxy Ranger. We have Reggie Rollins, who plays Damon the Green Ranger. We have Archie Cow, which is Kai the Blue Ranger. We have Serena Vincent, which is Maya the Yellow Ranger. And we have Valerie Vernon, which is Kendrix the Pink Ranger. Now, the way it works is the citizens on Angel Grove some of them are chosen or pay or whatever to go move to this space colony, which is called, I wrote it down here to refresh my memory, Terra Venture. Now, Terra Venture is like this big space colony where you go live on this humongous spaceship-looking thing, and life is just grand. So, now, the three Rangers, Damon, Kai, and Maya, were already going to go there. Now, Damon, Kai, and Kendrix were the 3 that were going to go there. And then we have Leo, who sneaks aboard the spaceship because he wants to go to space. And then we have Valerie Vernon. God dang it, I'm sorry, guys. Then we have Maya, who is on another planet that they're traveling to recover the Quasar Sabers. And the Quasar Sabers are what gives the Galaxy Rangers their power. And they recover the Quasar Sabers, and Leo's brother, what is his name? Mike, we think he is going to fall into this big pit of death, and before he falls, he gives Leo the red Galaxy Sword Saber, and he's like, fill in for me! So they fall, and so he falls, and we think he's dead until later in the series. And then we find out that these 5 sabers are given to the new Galaxy Rangers, and they morph into the Galaxy Rangers. And then, series moves along. Eventually, we come across that Leo's brother Mike is not dead. He is actually alive. And his name's Mike. He comes back, and eventually, he becomes what is known as the Magna Defender. Now, the Magna Defender is the special ranger for this series. And at one point, we see the Magna Defender as the first Magna Defender, because there are 2 in this series. We see him, and the only reason he shows up is he is trying to find the guy who killed his son and kill him in revenge. So, and the Magna Defender's son, he kind of looks like the Magna Defender, he has these big horns, and he wears this long black suit, and he's got this black cape. Picture the Magna Defender's son, instead of these massive horns, he's got these little bitty horns, and he's got this little bitty tiny mask that you can barely see eye holes and a mouth. And eventually, at one point, his son appears to him and tells him You shouldn't kill people, Father, out of spite. That's not the point of being a Power Ranger. Well, the Magna Defender... This isn't exactly what happens, but it's the basic idea. He becomes so disgusted with himself, he destroys himself. He sacrifices himself for the better good, or he kills himself. If you read a lot of blogs or you read a lot of articles about the series, he pretty much just kills himself. And the reason he does this is so he can be with his long-lost son. Aw, good feelings, we're all happy. Father reunites with son in afterlife. So the Magna Defender needs someone to take his spot. So he chooses Mike, and in one of the coolest transitions of Ranger to Ranger I've ever seen, the Magna Defender and his son, Zeta, I believe if I'm remembering correctly, appears to Mike, and Mike is holding the Magna Defender's sword, and all of a sudden you see the morphers come onto his wrists, and the Magna Defender's like, "You will be the Magna Defender." And in one of the coolest morphing sequences, Mike, he throws the Magna Defender's sword straight in the air, and then he takes this part of the morpher and flips it up like a key, and he goes, "Shh!" And he screams, "Magna Power!" and does this kind of motion, and when he pulls it out, he reaches up and in perfect sync grabs the sword, and lightning goes, big explosion, and he's in the Magna Defender costume. Really dramatic, really cool. So if you haven't, go check that out. I'll put a link in the comment description below of the Magna Defender morph for the first time with Mike. It's really cool. So anyway, there you have your 6 Rangers. Now this series had something other than it's never done before, is we have another old series of Rangers come into the picture again and assist the current ones. And what I mean by this is first we see Andros come back and to help them fight against the Psycho Rangers, which come back. And then we see at one point the other 4 Space Rangers, or 4 of the 5 Turbo Rangers, come back and assist, and we have the Galaxy and the In-Space Rangers all on the same team with the Magna Defender, and that's a pretty cool bunch, if I do say so. So, so anyway, and then after that episode, for some reason they chose Galaxy Pink, and then they chose the Pink Ranger to teach this one lesson. Psycho Pink Ranger, when they think they destroy all the Psycho Rangers, is the one Psycho that somehow survives. And so the Psycho Pink Ranger is coming back, and she wants revenge, but specifically just on the Pink Rangers because she's color racist. She's racist against everything but pink, or she's racist against herself, I guess would be the better way to put it. But anyway, this series brought something to the table that we have never seen in a Power Ranger yet. We actually saw a Power Ranger die. Did I just say die? Wait! This is Power Rangers! You can't say the word die! I'm sorry. The Pink Ranger, Kendrix, was destroyed. And it was because the Pink Space Ranger, Cassie, was being hurt by something, and Kendrix jumps in the middle and takes all the blunt, and that destroys the Pink Ranger. So I believe, then the next episode comes along, and we see, well, first let me go back to the Pink Ranger destruction or death, whatever you want to put it. Kendrick dies, but she comes back as a spirit form. "Don't worry, I'll be okay." And, so now the Galaxy Rangers are without a Pink Ranger. So they have the Quasar Saber just goes away. It's like the Quasar Saber got a mind of its own. I'm going to go find a new Ranger. Well, in the next episode, we see this bar that we saw on Lost in Space, and we see Astronema there. And Astronema turns out that if you remember correctly, at the end of In Space, she was no longer a bad guy. She turned into Karone again. Well, it was Karone impersonating her old bad self to try and get information. And this whole episode is devoted to Karone taking her place as the new Pink Ranger. So Karone fills in for Kendrix, who was the very first Power Ranger to ever die in another series, to fill in for the old Ranger. Now, many people have wondered, why did they kill a Ranger? Why would they make death happen in the Power Rangers? Little kids shouldn't have to see their heroes being killed. That's not realistic. Here's the reason they did it, I believe. And I think a lot of people will agree with me. One of the most important lessons that we teach little kids, it's important to have someone to look up to. It's important to have someone that we look at and just want to immunize and be just like. Like if you're a young football player, you might look at Adrian Peterson and want to be just like him. If you're a young basketball player, you'll look at LeBron James and you want to jump like him and be as great as him. And if you're a tennis player and you want to be like Rafael Nadal, or golfer, you want to be like Tiger Woods. I mean, you want to be like people like that. Or if you want to be like one of your heroes, like a Power Ranger. But I think the reason they do this is to teach kids that heroes might do good and they might protect whatever they're trying to protect and do good things, but they're just like us. They're just regular people. They're just human beings for most of the time, and they can die just like us. And I think what they did here is they wanted to show kids the vulnerability of a hero. Yes, Kendricks was the Pink Ranger. Yes, she saved Terra Venture and Earth. Yes, she did all these good things, but that didn't mean that she was protected from death. So it taught kids even heroes can die. Even somebody who puts their life on the line for the better good can still end up paying the ultimate price with their life. So this is why I think they ended up doing this, and it was a really good thing to show kids, because not only was it a very first for Power Rangers, and don't you dare say for a second that, oh, they already had a Ranger die on this series. Remember, the Green Ranger died, and the Green Ranger did not die. He lost his powers. Learn your Power Ranger stuff. Wow, wigged out there a little bit. But this was the first time we ever saw a Power Ranger die. I'll admit, I was shocked because I didn't see this coming, but I understand why they did it. So really good series. And for this series, if I was going to grade it, I would give it a B+. Now, I realize that might be a little bit harsh because you might be saying, well, Jay, it did something that the series never did. It gave a complete new cast. It brought back an entire team of Rangers for one episode. It made a Ranger die, and it had, in my opinion, one of the most badass Special Rangers. Why doesn't this deserve an A? And the reason is, I think the problem with, I think they should have went in another direction and then come back and done Lost Galaxy. I don't think they should have went from Lost in Space to Lost Galaxy, because all they really were doing was taking In Space and making it into something else and giving it a different name. That's all they did. Maybe they should have done it Lost in Atlantis in the water and then gone to Lost Galaxy. But, that was the only thing. Like, maybe they should have taken the next series of Power Rangers, which will be Lightspeed Rescue, which I'm not looking forward to that video, done that, and then gone back to Lost Galaxy. It might have made a better impression, but overall, Lost Galaxy was an amazing series, so it still gets a B+. I just don't think it deserves an A. So anyway, guys, comment, subscribe, tell me what you think about it. Thumbs up the video for me in the comment section below. Please tell me what you thought about Lost Galaxy. Tell me what you believe the series deserved. Tell me who your favorite Ranger was. Tell me about your favorite moment. Just tell me something about Lost Galaxy that you remember, or something that you liked about the series or didn't like about the series, or just down there leave me your feedback. I'd like to hear what you guys think about this, and thumbs up the video for me, and I'll see you later.